Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day, good everything, and welcome to our little spotlight. May their memory be a blessing. I'm excited to be here with everyone. We have a lot to review. It's it's a big topic, right? And we have our friend Claudia is not here, but she's here on FaceTime. Yeah, so if you're new to me, I have my sidekick not in person, but online. So say hi to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
And I know we have some new people here. So if you're new to us, please say hi and say where you're from so that we can say hi to you and get to know you. Because it is an intimate discussion, and the more we are able to share, the more we're able to heal. The more we're able to heal, the more we're able to connect with our beloved. So, say hi. Is anyone saying hi?
Yes. Leslie Williams says hi. Christine Daigle Cole says hello, ladies. Hello, Christine.
Hello, Christine. Hello, Leslie.
Claudia Moberg Butler says hi, Joan.
Okay, remember I was telling you that's those cousins. She's married to my cousin.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, Butler. Yeah. Anyway, hi, Claudia. Yeah, so she's a cousin.
That's funny. Joyce Lee Leggett says hi. Lori Jodar says hi, ladies. Hi, Lori.
Hi, Lori.
Nancy Bishop says
Hi, Joyce.
hi from Tallahassee, Florida.
Hello.
Joanne Bloom says hey. Hello.
Hello. Okay. Well, if you're new to me, my name is Joan Ranquet. I'm an animal communicator, author, TEDx speaker, and founder of Communication with All Life University. We have programs for animal communication, energy healing, and of course, I take people on amazing wildlife trips. And we have 2 trips coming up, and we have some events coming up. So I'll talk about those for just a moment as people keep coming on, saying hi, saying where you're from. So coming up next weekend, the 21st and 22nd, we have the Animals in Transition, Death, Dying, and Beyond immersive. And if you've joined the Spotlight, you get $300 off for that, or $200 off the early bird price, $300 off the original price. And we have, it's almost like this work is the lead up to that. And it's this work that we're going to do to really, move through some of our sad memories, our bad memories, our painful memories, what we woulda, coulda, shoulda done. And then being able to see our animals in this new light. And then that workshop, if you're so inclined, is perfect then to have that deep connection with them. This is definitely the starter kit, and that's why we do this, especially this time of year, because even for California, it's not quite what cousin Claudia is experiencing probably in Seattle. I think they've been going with snow and all sorts of things. But it's so cloudy right now. I mean, it's foggy. So winter is like, this is a perfect time to like settle in and be introspective, do the winter thing. Although yesterday I was talking to Claudia, and I was like, it almost feels like spring. Like I had that moment when I went down to feed horses where I was like, oh, could it be? It's around the corner. Anyway, I have spring fever. I think I'm not much of a winter person. I don't mind flying to snow, but then I need summer all the time. Anyway, but winter is this good time to be in this moment, to be with our feelings, to be with our beloveds in a way that we don't get to be in our everyday life. Okay, did anyone else come on and say hi?
Yes. Julie Gorman says hi from the UK.
Hi, Julie.
Susan Dottie says good morning.
Good
Hello.
morning, Susan.
Val Smith says hello, good morning. You know Val?
Val's in the classroom here with the puppies. She was just in the house with the puppies. And for those that don't know, I have a puppy named Elsa, and I'll explain all of that in a few minutes. But Val, who's on our team, adopted one of the sisters. So we get them together. We work kind of. We worked pretty well yesterday.
We worked hard yesterday.
With puppies. And then the puppies just entertain themselves, and then they pass out with their fat bellies. So we can get a lot done once we've taken 1,000 pictures. But anyway, go ahead.
Denise Power Andre says hello from Rhode Island.
Hello.
Claudia, which is weird for me to say Claudia. Claudia says it's beautiful in Seattle, cold but sunny.
Oh, well then I was really wrong. I have your weather. Do you know what? She lives near Gretchen. She's gone on dog hikes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's funny. It's such a small world.
Jennifer Santini says hello from Hurley, Wisconsin.
Hello.
Shiloh is on.
Hi, Shiloh.
April Adams says cold but sunny in Salt Lake.
Oh, I bet. It's gorgeous. And there's nothing more beautiful than a cold, sunny day in Seattle. I will say that. Because all the mountains are out, and it's just spectacular. The water, the mountains, all of the things in one spot. Okay, so also coming up, we have the Spring Intensive, and enrollment is almost closed on that. And what we do in the Spring Intensive is 3 days of animal communication, 3 days of EFT, and 3 days of animal communication in sanctuaries. And we go to some really fun places. And then we have 1 or 2 spots left on the dolphin trip. We might be done, we might be closed with the Tula Tula.
Yeah.
That's in South Africa with the elephants. But we're plotting more stuff for 26 and beyond. I mean, I literally have filled out my dance card with trips for the next 5 years. Some of them I'm going to do on my own, but some I'm going to bring people to.
Jennifer Santini says it was 18 degrees this morning. Minus 18. Oh, geez, I missed the minus. Minus 18 this morning when she went to feed the horses, goats, and chickens. Yeah, that's...
It wasn't
I complain when it's 20.
I know. It was cold-ish. I'll just say that. Yeah, that would be cold. I know. I have to brace for it. When I lived in Carnation, Washington, I was saying that if it hits 30 here, you know, I'm breaking a little thing of ice. But when it would hit 30 in Seattle, I was breaking this thick of ice for my horses to have water in the morning. And that's after putting a heater in it at night. And I mean, like, all the things. So 30 here is a little different than 30 some other places, because I know it's going to be warm, except today. Anyway, anyone else?
Shiloh says it's 56 in Quartzsite. That's actually warm for me right now.
Yeah, that would feel balmy. Yesterday it was in the 50s, and I was out like barefoot. I couldn't believe it with the puppy, like, let's potty. Anyway, 50, yeah, anyway. Here we are on the spotlight. And anything else before I get started?
I would like to...
Go ahead.
I would like to say, get on the phone with me. Every time someone gets on the phone with me, they're like, oh my God, thank you, because now I know where to start. I'm just here to answer your questions because I know there's so many classes and so many options, and it can be overwhelming to know where to even start. Get on the phone with me, and we can discuss. Here's a link to my calendar. I hope that I get to hear from many of you, or all of you.
Yeah, we'd love to. We also have the animal communication level 1 coming up in the spring. We have all the classes start up again in the spring. If you've taken animal communication level 1, you're eligible for the animal medical intuition. So, there's a whole giant program. I'm amazed that didn't get a dog barking. There's a whole giant program and things starting up with our spring semester. And we'll be talking more about that next week in emails and posts and what have you. But yeah, the spring semester literally starts in April. And so if there are things you want to do, get on a call with Claudia, get in touch with her, understand what's going on, get on a payment plan. She can help you do anything. So we'd love to help. Okay. So one of the reasons I actually why a spotlight, right? I think for one thing, I want, so many people, it's changing, but back in the day, and you may have people in your world that kind of eye roll, you don't get to talk about grief with your animal in the same way that like, oh, my mother died, or my cousin died, or my this died, right? We don't get to do that thing. A lot of people will say, well, just get another cat, get another bird. It's like, wait, you don't understand who this being was or is. And so having a space that's safe, even if you don't type in and speak, ooh, Buster Keaton's going for the big shot. Yeah, did you see that? It was exciting. I know, that was me. Anyway. Oh, look, I have that beautiful ring light that I never use. Anyway, let me just point out the obvious. Whenever Claudia says to me, I'm like, what, do I have something here? Anyway, so...
I've been looking at you on the FaceTime, so I didn't see...
You didn't see him jump?
No, I didn't see the ring light.
Oh, yeah, the ring light's sitting right there. Awesome set, Joan. Anyway, that's why it's hard when you're not here. Okay, thank you. Good job, Buster Keaton. All right, he's up on the top of the bookshelf. So, okay. I have a chorus. Usually it's Henry. I can't believe, we have a whole full 3-ring circus going on here. Let's just bring some puppies in. Oh, he just jumped back down. Okay. Oh, he's gonna get the dogs going. Whee! Oh my God. Okay. Wow! I guess. Usually we lose it when she's here. You just can't make this up. Okay. Yeah, here we go. He flew at me.
Oh my God, at least we've entertained people.
You're welcome. Anyway, I think he's feeling free with no puppy here or something. Wow. Okay. Did anyone else enjoy that?
Oh, yeah. Claudia says that was more than I bargained for. We've gone off the rails. Oh, okay.
Oh, boy.
Oh, okay. Oh, my God. Okay.
All right. So, anyway, back to the serious matter. And the thing is that he's holding court, and the dog is going to chase him. Like, they're both in a... So anything could happen in a minute. It could explode again. Just FYI. So be prepared. I mean, he flew at me.
Tanya says, oh my God, I put my phone down for 1 minute and all this action happened. I can only hear it. Tanya, you're going to have to watch
You're going to have to watch the replay because it was like nothing that's ever happened. I've been doing this live. I mean, I know we're in a spotlight, but I've been doing lives for 6 years. We figured it out. This is our 6th year. And nothing like that has ever happened, so.
Oh my God. And Lori wants to know what's in your water today.
Acid. I'm going to spit my water out. Okay. Kidding. All right. So, the reason I put all this together, and I know she was not looking at me, she just put her hand up over the camera, is because there has to be a safe space for us, especially when other people, and I know what I was saying, if you're not somebody that's going to type, because I was starting to type and then a cat flew at me, if you're not the type to even express yourself, but just the fact that you can be here and feel safe, and if you were going to type something, you might type this, that, then I've done my job, right? Like, that you're even maybe putting it in a journal, and that's why if you haven't signed up for the Spotlight, please sign up for it, because we have homework sheets and journal prompts and things for you to, sorry, I still have that cough from that influenza A I had all through January. Anyway, having even a journal prompt, sometimes, you know, the definition to me of overwhelm is having so many feelings, and it's like they're stuck in the drain and they can't go down. So it's like there could be frustration and sadness, and the journal prompts are meant to kind of unhook all those things. So, you know, yesterday we had a big tapping session, and we knew that one of our students in the program was struggling, and we reached out to her after we were done, and she wrote something really beautiful about how you know, there were things that it was, first of all, it was her first 2 dogs, so it was like her starter kit, right? And then they both were kind of dying at the same time, and this is about the time I met her through a course that I taught with the Shift Network. And it was a big class, but I remembered her distinctly because she always asked great questions. Eventually she joined the program, so we all have been privy to, you know, what she's been going through. And she'll probably end up watching this replay. But the point is that, you know, is that something you can tell everybody? Well, if you've surrounded yourself with animal people, yes, but where else do you get to kind of express, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done it this way. Or, you know, and the thing is that at the end of the day, our animals and humans are so forgiving that once they're back in soul form, it's not like anybody's keeping a tally. Oh yeah, except for maybe cats. I'm kidding. But when I come back, the point is that we need this safe space where we can say those things, because at the end of the day, if from a vantage point, a very high vantage point, everything was done perfectly. It was orchestrated. There's, you know, you walked in and did what you did because of who you are and who they are. And it, you know, if you were to read it in a book, it would be like, wow, that was perfect. But for us, we still have these big feelings that are hooking us. And so, is anyone saying anything? Does anyone, I mean, so I have some questions, you know. Are any of you haunted by something you did or didn't do. And
Yes.
yes.
I didn't even let you finish the question. Yes.
And you know, I mean, I had, and this Claudia knows, in 1986, my sister died of a brain tumor, and you know, I was in my 20s because I'm old, and it was a shock, and it, you know, there were things that I wished I could have done differently. But at the end of the day, that's who we each were. There's not a lot I can do about that now. And then I proceeded to move through a period of, I moved to LA. I'd been in New York, came back to Seattle when my sister was dying, moved to LA, was in the theater and film world, and lost so many friends to AIDS. I can't even describe what a war zone that was here in LA. And so I was around enormous loss at a young age, at an impressionable age. Just so much loss. And then losing animals, and then parents, and divorce, and stuff like that. So I try to do things from the beginning that put me in a situation that I won't regret, but it doesn't mean I'm not still haunted. Does that make sense?
Yeah. We have a few people responded. April Adams says yes. Shiloh says yes every time. Christine Dago Cole says definitely. Claudia says yes, absolutely. Jennifer Santini, oh yes, I think we all are. Did we do everything for them? Did we overlook anything? Did we spend enough time? Julie Gorman says yes. Shiloh says AIDS loss was intense.
Yeah, I mean, and it's, we do the best we can. And again, if we're hovering above, if there is a judgment day, we're just going to make this up. You know, we're probably going to get A++ because of who we were and who they were and what the circumstance was. But it doesn't take away from it doesn't help our feelings until we move through it, right? So that's, you know, just saying it out loud sometimes. Yeah, just saying it out loud sometimes really helps. And, you know, there are little things like, for example, last year I lost Gabrielle, who was my mayor that I had I knew she was 36. I knew her 33 years. I'd had her for like 32 years. I mean, yeah. There are things toward the end that I regret, but I figure in 33 years of knowing someone, you're going to have a couple mistakes. Certainly early on, I made every mistake. But I more than made up for it. And then at the very end, there were things. But it took me a long time to put her memorial together, whereas I usually put a memorial together and, oh, here are the little pieces, and it goes on the wall. Delilah, I made her memorial, but it didn't even get on the wall. And then I evacuated last month, took everything off the wall, and it still hasn't gone up. So I'm living as if I'm going to redecorate. But how many of you then with these regrets or hauntings, did you ever make a memorial? Yes.
There's a comment that, while people answer that, one of the things Rashida Beth Tesler says, sometimes it's, should I have let them go sooner? And I know you have a lot to say on that, so I'm just going to plant that.
Yeah, I do love that because I really believe to my core that nobody can die a moment before or a moment after they're supposed to. It doesn't mean that we're not going to have a million feelings or learn a bunch of lessons. I know that one of the things I see, you know, people, rather than celebrating the fact that, you know, 2 of the 4 legs are working, people walk by and go, she should really put that dog down, right? And it would be like, are you going to put your dad down? You know? And so what I also think about that time is we don't know what else they're working out, right? Like there's a moment in that state of grace where they're getting to be in this space where they're working a lot of their unfinished business out, just like we do. You know, it's like, I don't know if you've ever been with many people when they're dying, but, you know, my mom was in a coma for 6 days and I did not leave that room. I didn't even do my morning walk. I had coffee delivered. And if she did speak, it was the most random thing, but she was working stuff out. Right? I've been with a lot of people in that state, and they're usually working stuff out. Our animals are no different, right? To deny them that would be no bueno, right? They need that too. You don't know that they're not working something out with a litter mate, with a person that had, you know, been their guardian before, maybe some dog at the dog park that they're like, you know, you don't know how big a horse's herd was. You don't know what they're working out, and that's where I had a friend when I lived in Denver. She was a veterinarian in Boulder. She still is. And she had been a Buddhist. There's a huge Buddhist community in Boulder. And she said, you know, we talked a lot about philosophical things with animals. And I had told her my theory that, like, helping an animal cross is that moment of kind of being a midwife, right? Whether, not necessarily that but just being with them in that time, not necessarily whether you've brought a veterinarian in to help. And she talked a lot about how you don't want to stop that labor, right? That's such an important part, and she wouldn't do any euthanizations because it was basically against her philosophy, her religion, her whole being. So I know that we all get to question that, and that's part of our journey with it. But it like, I mean, I've never seen such perfection as much as it killed me the night that Delilah died, right? Like, it could not, every ounce of it was orchestrated. Every second of it was orchestrated. Down to, you know, somebody almost driving a car off a cliff here. And me and Delilah going out to help her, right? Like, Delilah got the last laugh, literally. Although my dad had the last laugh. But anyway, go ahead. I see.
There's a lot of comments, so I'm gonna, regarding the memorial.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry. April Adams says, I've started making a memorial book, but most of the things I have gathered are in a box waiting. Val says, it took forever to make Evie's memorial. I still have project boxes for Bree and Diamond.
Oh.
Yeah. Jennifer Santini says, yes, they all have memorials. I have dogs' ashes in the house along with the pet cemetery outside. Tanya says, yes, I made a photo album of all the selfies I took with Liam and bought an orb and mixed Jasmine, Lily, and Liam's ashes together.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. Claudia says, I'm in the middle of putting together a memorial with ashes, collar, and photos.
Oh.
April Adams says, I also have my boy's ashes sitting on my dresser. I had a beautiful urn made for his ashes, but I just can't bring myself to put them in it. I've never done this with my other animals, but Coda is different, and I don't know why.
I get it.
Yeah. Julie Gorman says, I still haven't put her album together, and it's been 3 years. I feel so bad about that. I'm going to start crying.
I know. It's so, you know, it, it we have the excuse to do it if it's your sibling. You know, we have the support if it's a family member, because there might be other family members that are waiting for that thing, or, you know, aren't we going to go out to the beach and you know, send off the ashes together, right? Like there's usually a family involved, or friends or something, and this becomes a very lonely endeavor. Anyway, go ahead.
Nancy Bishop says, I'm going to feel like I should announce on my FB page, but haven't been able to go on any social media because it's all animal stuff and it's too raw right now.
I get it.
Christine's Daigle Cole says, and I've been thinking about a memorial for Milkbone. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, we're all going to start
in front of our house with a plaque with his photo and a supply of bags. His ashes live in our mantle with a large photograph of him hanging over it.
Mm.
Nancy Bishop says, let alone the gorgeous pics to be printed and large framed. It's all I can do to move around without him. And Kayla Dodd says, yes, Joan, I feel this with my 9-year-old Dane, who has been limping for the last 2 months, and many people are saying it's his time. He's old, let him go, but they only see him for a short period of time, where I see him every minute of the day and how things change throughout the day.
And I would be, if I went to the dog park with an older dog, I would be arrested. There'd be many people without teeth. My hand would hurt. But I mean, you just want to punch people. Not that I condone violence, but you know, this is my.
Oh, there's certain times, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? Speaking of, I've been bitten so many times by that puppy, and I just scratched a puppy scab off, which is just awesome because now it hurts. Anyway, you know how puppies come up and they lick you, and then it's alligator teeth. Anyway, usually I have a toy and I just shove the toy in her mouth, but or her own paw. I was defenseless that moment when she got my ear. Yeah. I mean, to Kayla's point, that's like, it is so mind-boggling that we think we know the answer for someone else's family member. Just totally as inappropriate as anything could ever be.
Yeah.
And that is our job, to start educating without punching.
Jennifer Santini says, my honey that I was with for 13 and a half years passed away December 30th, 2022. That was very difficult. I was at his bedside when he passed, and with his last breath, I felt his weird feeling in my left chest area that went with him.
I had a horse that I talk about in my TEDx talk. I'll put my TEDx talk in this group. Like, I literally, as he was going, it was when I was still living in Carnation, I felt like I almost went up and out with him. It's, I know, it's a crazy feeling.
Shiloh says, Dream has a special memorial in the living room, a special place in the bedroom, and I have her ashes.
Mm-hmm.
Joyce Lee Leggett says, my memorial for Geronimo is very comforting. It's a part of my decor.
Yeah, maybe, go ahead.
Shiloh said that before she went full-time in the fifth wheel RV, she released all the ashes from her 5 friends into a special nature area with a stream. Each one was different responses.
That's really cool. Yeah, go ahead.
Emma McCartney says, do you feel that it's unhealthy to have their picture and items out for many years? Example, T-Bone's pictures are everywhere and I have a corner dedicated to him. It will be 3 years in May. I still feel a little guilty if I have to take something down.
You know what? The only reason that everything is off the wall right now is because I had to evacuate, and I wanted to bring them with me, even though almost every single picture I have is online. Claudia's daughter years ago was in trouble, and so her what was her punishment? Her consequences for lying to her parents was she had to come here and scan my entire world online and clean up horse shit, which now she wants to get, be a horse person. So anyway, I have had a section for Olivia, who's been gone it'll be 9 years in March. And Isabella, 8 years. I mean, up on that top shelf was always a picture of Olivia, her puppy. I mean, my whole house is a memorial to all the dead animals and the live ones. And that's why I'm kind of glad that I did take everything down, because I do, clearly, I have Felina and Pegasus, the 2 horses I've gotten in the last year and a half, and Elsa now. So I'm not going to lose anything. I'm just going to rearrange, So no, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And maybe since they're not up on the wall on Friday, I'll show some of the memorials I made. And maybe on Friday, people can get ideas. I'll show what I've done, and people can post pictures of their memorials. And even someone who said that they've got all the stuff in a box, right? Like, share a picture of those items. I think sharing this, we're in process with it, right? It's not like the grief is going to be gone one day. It's just going to be different. That's all. It's just going to be different. Having a picture of T-Bone is delicious, I have pictures. Usually over there is, a dead sister, a few dead dogs, Horses, parents, everybody's dead except my stepkids that, and the pictures are when they were little. But yeah, I'm looking at this empty shelf that's usually full of pictures, and a lot of them dead.
Val says that she invited a close friend over to say goodbye, and she told her that the dog looked fine and didn't know why this was goodbye.
Wow.
That's special. Leslie Williams, and Shiloh responded also to Amber. I have pictures from many years on the wall, not unhealthy at all. I have pictures from decades ago of my animals, not unfair.
Yeah, I have pictures of, oh my God, like I keep this right here. This is my reminder of who started the school. Pet One, Pony Boy, and my cat Alexandria. They were I wouldn't be here without them. You wouldn't be here on Live with me if I hadn't lost Pet One and Pony Boy. And then the cat picture is just because she got to teach advanced before Gabrielle did, and she held it over her for every moment that they were alive.
That is funny.
Yeah.
As she would, yeah.
As cats do.
Leslie Williams says, I keep being asked why I haven't had another cat yet. Alfie passed last April and can't face having another cat yet.
I would not have jumped into getting a puppy. That's the fastest I've ever done anything like that in a household. And I did it not just for me. I did it for 2 dogs that were not, granted, I've been sick off and on since November. Sick or jet lagged or sick. I had COVID in October right after Delilah died. I came back, was a little jet lagged, but then the holidays were wild. And then wild fun. But then the fires and I got sick again. So we haven't had any normal routine, and my dogs were going down. And I don't like want to change. I say this in all honesty. Like if you, there was a certain thing I learned when my sister died that like, if I didn't attend to my grief and understand what that looked like, I did, and pulled myself out of a very deep depression that you don't know you're going into. And if you don't catch that pretty early on, you're changing your chemistry, you know? And that I did not want for these dogs. So Elsa was a completely selfless decision.
She says without having a straight face.
We all needed to change our chemistry. We all needed joy again. And has it worked?
Oh my God. Yesterday was party in your house.
Like it always is.
Yeah, like it was, yes.
Delilah was the party. And it's a 6 house. It's always supposed to be a party. Anyway, that's another. When I'm teaching numerology, we'll talk all about it. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Jen Gordon says, this is the one I wanted to say to you. Hold on. Okay, sorry. I was looking to see what the question. There it is. So does deciding to euthanize mess up a peaceful transition for them?
No, because you might be part of, and this is where animal communication, and even if you don't know you're doing animal communication, not at all. It's not to say that, but what it is, that's a very important thing. When we say, I'm going to make an appointment for Tuesday, on some level, we are making that together. And we're calling the vet. Like, you're simply acting on behalf of your beloved. I always say this to people. No matter how much I can sit and do animal communication, you know your animal better than I do. So when we make a decision with and for our animals, it's more with our animals than for our animals. And so you're just acting on behalf. Hi, Henry. I don't know why. Now Henry's showing up. Okay. Today's a cat day, I guess. But you're, Jen, does that make sense? Did I make sense on that?
Yes, 100%, because you reminded me of, a lot of my clients are calling about that, right? And you have always taught us, and it's true, that no one knows that animal better than the person.
Yeah.
And it has never failed. I tell them, and it's true, you will know.
Yeah, you're going to know.
They let you know.
I used to, when I lived in Denver and even Florida, maybe even Washington, I would get asked a lot, like, well, how am I going to know, if they did a session toward the end of their life. And I used to say, you know what, if you're questioning it, you get a free pass. You can call me, you set up a time, I'll give you a free bonus call. No one ever used it. Nobody ever called me. Is it now? Because they knew. You knew. You knew when. There are times when we were maybe not as aware that we can question it, but we still did the perfect right thing in that moment with that animal in a way in which didn't feel right. And that was part of both of your contract and lesson and understanding and ways that you've moved forward, right? Like, we've all made mistakes with animals. We wouldn't be here wanting to consciously make it right if we hadn't done a bunch of things in ways that we, like that first question, feel haunted by. Anyway, is that making any sense?
100%.
Did Jen respond?
I'm going to look because we've got a bunch of comments. So, oh my Lord, we've got a bunch.
Oh, good.
She says, thank you. Yes, that makes sense. I've struggled with it many times, but as you state, I felt it was right for them at the time. Okay, let me go back.
Yeah, I mean, that is the thing. You knew. You knew because that animal was like, okay, I give. And you felt that spirit drop, or you felt that whatever it is, however your communication is or was, or could continue to be with that being, is entirely yours, and you knew. Anyway.
Okay, Val said that the physical thing happened to her. She said that totally happened to me. I had bad back, lower pain, and it felt like it lifted out of me as Diamond, who had lots of lower back discomfort, left her body.
Oh.
Rashida says I inadvertently skipped over her comment. Hold on, I'm going back. Oh, she said when my heart dog Shelby passed, I didn't post about it. Hold on. Sorry, my daughter's calling me. When my heart dog Shelby passed, I didn't post about it, partly because it's still too painful to recount it, and also because it felt so private.
Yeah, I get it. I didn't post right away about Gabrielle. It was very, well, Val and Claudia were here, but, you know, and Claudia and Ellie were here with the cat. But my animals tend to be a little more public and known, and I probably wouldn't have posted about Delilah, except that there I was teaching the intensive, and we were going into the death and dying last October. But I totally get that holding on to that privacy is just part of who you were with that animal, and may even be the way that you operate in the world. And then it becomes just a matter of, well, I do want others to know. I am in a different situation. Sometimes I joke that when I, go ahead and just post stuff, or my social media team does stuff for me, it's like, I'm just a character, because really I'm very private. Am I not?
Yeah, very.
Nobody really knows what I do the rest of the time. I mean, I teach a lot. I was like, who's out there? It's Val with pottying puppies. Anyway, see, that's how private I am. Who's in my yard? But I don't, I mean, I work my butt off. Everybody probably knows that. But, people don't know a lot about my private life. People don't know that if you're going to an immersive next weekend, that if the weather permits at lunch, I'm going to go ride. But, these are little things. No, I'm very private as well. Go ahead. What's next?
Nancy Bishop says, when he let go and made a little noise, the energy in the room shifted and turned ice cold, and I started shaking and was freezing for days.
Yeah, I mean, all these things are tender and important to be with,
Yeah. Val said that the same thing happened with her shoulder when Bree left.
Val didn't get to hear her comment because she's out there wrangling puppies. Oh my God.
Joan said, and this is true, she said, footprints and hoof prints all over your heart means you meant something to them and them to you. Yes.
Yes.
Shiloh says the only picture she displayed has displayed are her animals.
Yeah, I mean, I have a few people pictures I don't know why. No, because I like my parents. And I like,
And Amber says thank you for the thing about
T-bone, of course.
Let me see.
Oh, they're going up Dog Mountain. Sorry, I'm watching puppies.
Okay. Julie says, Julie Gorman in response to Leslie, in response to the wanting to get a cat, like someone saying, why haven't you got a cat?
Oh,
She
right.
said, yeah. She says, I keep being asked the same about getting another dog. Makes me feel so pressured. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody dares to ask me about a puppy, right? Nobody did. And that's why I could secretly go do it. And again, going back to the privacy, I didn't. I had this dog here for a week before I shared. And again, I have, with my animals, a little more of a public life. So I do tend to share because, you know, especially if you saw how much puppy shit I clean up, everybody should know that, you know, animal communicators are human and we screw up as much as anybody, and I can turn my back 1 minute and there's pee. I mean, I literally set alarms. Claudia sees that I set alarms. Animals are attached to me. But even so, with Penelope, it was during COVID, and we had the intensive. Usually there were 45 people in the room. Instead, there's 45 people online. My puppy's attached to me, and one of the students raises her hand, Kim Nishida, and says, Joan, Penelope's peeing behind you. Like, the whole class saw it, except for me, because she snuck behind me. Yeah, Penelope, that was you. Anyway, so we're not perfect. And that's one reason why I share a lot of stuff, is that, you know, it can look like just because you have the skill of animal communication and energy healing, that it should all go blissfully. But, I wouldn't be sitting here writing books if it was also... I would have ascended by now, right?
Yeah.
With all my animals, we would have just floated out.
Danielle Marie says, I keep debating on getting a second dog for the one I have left, but financially the timing's not good, and I worry it would add more stress to the home. But I would love another one someday. I really hope that my current dog is not too lonely, being the only dog now. It's all new for us.
And, you know, one of the things that I kind of mentioned yesterday, but is really, really, really important, is taking the time to see the new normal, right? The new normal of just you and this dog. And it could be that there are things that this dog is going to do and be that is going to give you the space to not rush out and do it. And at the same time, you know, it might be that you'll just feel that a companion for both of you is right. And that's where I feel like we almost have to assess each step of the way with the new normal. And I did that a lot, like, okay, and I say it out loud. This is the new normal with the horses. I'm feeding you first and not Gabrielle, right? Like, all of a sudden I'm creating a new routine around feeding horses, or when I blanket horses in the winter, or how I get dogs out to go potty, and how we go play, and do I need to put you outside while I put my shoes on because Delilah's not here leaping? You know, so it's like all those little things add up to the new normal, and the new normal will help inform you what the next step is. That's why the new normal wasn't bouncing back here.
Yeah.
And part of that was my health. Part of that was outside circumstances, the fires. I was gone for 3 weeks to Kenya, Tanzania, and Rwanda. You know, and then I usually have this one guest that comes every Christmas, and we just sit around and read and ride horses, and we were like teenagers. There was a party here, there was a this there. Oh, we have to go to the Rose Bowl and spend the night at my friend's house so that we can wake up and watch the parade in her front yard. Like, crazy how many things I did in 1 week that it takes me a year to do. So there's been no new normal. And thank God I filled up my fun cup, because January with fires, evacuation, and having the flu was anything but fun. But here we are. Life is normal now.
Exactly. So Leslie Williams says, Alfie clearly let me know that he needed help to pass. And Christine Cole says, if they were confused as they were transitioning, does that mean they were not ready?
No, I don't, this is, don't get me started about the New Age. One of the misleading things of the New Age world, of which I have been published and will be published and will continue to get published by, is that animals are more spiritual than us and that they accept death. And there couldn't be a bigger pile of shit sitting in the middle of the room than that, right? Because, for one thing, what's more spiritual? What's a better understanding of death? I have no idea. All I know is that if I went out there and caught a bunny right now and was going to kill it, it would not understand what was going on. It would fight like a mofo. And it would bite me, and it would hurt me, and it would get away because I wouldn't do anything. But my point is that this idea that they're supposed to know what that looks like is insane. Some animals, like some people, might be more advanced and understand and are ready in that way. There are some animals that say, I'm ready, and then they get scared. I've had the gamut. You were here with Gabrielle. Fought every bit. She wanted to get up. She did not. No leg worked. Nothing. The infection was so bad. There was nothing left, and she still fought.
Yeah.
So there's no rule on how that's supposed to go. So, my dog Olivia, who was she could have run a fire department. I always used to say she could be president of this country. She got scared at the end. She was ready to go, and at the very end, she didn't want to go. But she was very peaceful. I think that everybody's different. And I think that and that's what I really love about being with each one of them when they go, is that it is so different. And it is so uniquely them. And I also always say, and I imagine that you and your husband did this, that when it is near the end, we tend to stop everything, so then why would they want to go?
That's true.
All we're doing is devoting our entire life to them. We're laying on the floor with them. We're eating on the floor. We're sharing things with them that they're never supposed to eat. Why would they want to leave that? Right? So even though nothing's functioning in their body the way it's supposed to, they're living on kind of a bliss. They're living in that state of grace. And it's not sustainable. And that is another reason why I try and fail, because, I'm human. But I give it my best to give them their best life so that I have no regrets. And that end is what it is. And if my end comes before them, they would be independent enough to go off and live with someone else. But everybody's different. How they're going to perceive the end, and especially when we stop everything and just dote on them, why would you want to leave? If you all stopped and doted on me, I'd probably be so uncomfortable I would leave. But we just lost Claudia. Come back.
When you said that, I'm like, you would not stick around, and then you said that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. But, you know, yeah, but they like it. Some might be like me and be like, okay, this is weird, I'm out. Right? Isabella was one that was like, no, I'm not doing this. We're not doing this. I was planning a party for her where she could eat out of the trash in front of everybody and they could all say goodbye. She left the night before while I'm inviting people to come over. We're going to say goodbye. She was like, oh no, I'm out. See, I would be like that. Out. Anyway.
Okay. Val says she waited 8 years. Dogs and cats found our family over the years, but they've been such different relationships. Shiloh said, I asked Dream to wait to cross over when in Arizona to when we got back to Colorado. She told Jeff and I she was dying. She waited until we got to where we could help her to transition. Just not the way I wanted it to happen at home. It came first thing in the morning with multiple seizures once we got to Grand Lakes, Colorado.
Mm. You know, I asked Olivia to wait to California because I'd gotten her in Denver. She moved to Florida with me. She moved to Seattle, and then she made it to California. And the only other one that had done all that with me was Gabrielle. Gabrielle started in California. Yeah, so I know. And it wasn't always easy, but I think they cheerfully do it. It's just, then it's like, uh-oh. But I'm glad she made it to Colorado for you. Anyway.
It's 11:04.
Okay, anyone else?
Yeah, we have a lot.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. Kayla Dodd says, I hate that when people see animals that are disabled and feel sorry for them and say, let them go. My response is, what about all the disabled people, children you see? Do you feel sorry for them? Do you think they're better off not being here on Earth? They're still living the best life they can with this disability they have, as long as they're living pain-free. That reminds me, that one dog that we had the class connect with that was disabled, and we were all, oh, and then we connected with her, and she was living her best fucking life. Sorry, her best life.
Yeah, I mean, do you think, so my friend that stays with me every Christmas, she used to be a dressage trainer up in the Seattle area, and she's teaches special ed now. Do you think any of those kids in that classroom think that there's something wrong with them? They're just trying to follow the yoga pose and then learn their ABCs. They don't for 1 second think there's something wrong with them. The rest of the world might be really screwed up, but there's nothing wrong with them. And this idea of what is abled and disabled, and, you know, it's like, it's kooky what our perception is. And again, it's our job to start to re-educate people that these are family members. Not everybody is perfect, and yet they're perfect. Anyway, I'm glad you're an advocate for this, Kayla. We need you.
Agreed. Jennifer Santini says, I find it hard to post on Facebook since most of the comments that you read are, I am so sorry for your loss, etc., which is so hard to read over and over. I always try to write an uplifting message, probably because I've gone through so many.
And we talk about that in the Death and Dying, that it's like, why are you sorry? You're sorry about what? If I use the word I'm sorry, I usually say I'm sorry to hear this. What a big soul. You know what I mean? Like, I'm with you. I just try to acknowledge whoever that being is, you know, and I am sorry to hear it. Like, it hurts my heart. But I'm not sorry. How could I be sorry for your loss? You know what I mean? Like, I agree that our inability to mourn with and for each other is very transparent. And again, we need to just keep moving the dial on that by being the best we can with others who are, you know, in transition with their animals.
Which is perfect setup for Shiloh's comment. I often read on Facebook groups that people don't understand when a family member transitions, their other pet family seems to be grieving. I had Keisha released at home so her companion could know what happened. He passed a month later from throat cancer. Keisha lost her companion Taluk, and it was done by the vet. She looked at every Sammy thinking it was Taluk. She grieved for over a year until we got her another companion.
Yeah, I agree. I'm always, I didn't, in my grief state, I had a class here, and I had a body when Delilah died. I was like, what do I do with the body? And I didn't let I should have let the horses see her, right? So it was very confusing. They caught on very quickly. I think Pegasus knew there was something wrong with Delilah. She'd had some stuff going on. But yeah, I think it's very important for everybody to know what's going on.
Cindy Atwood says, and there's Questa, who at the time they struggled to find a good vein, and she looked up at me at one point saying, "Is it done? Are you with me?"
Oh my God, that's the best one yet.
I know.
Oh
Danielle,
my God, that makes me laugh and cry all at once.
yeah, exactly.
That might have to go in my Death and Dying book. I'm going to quote you.
Yes.
I'm going to ask you for more story. Anyway, go ahead.
Danielle Marie says, I was so amazed when the vet showed up to send Mocha over the Rainbow Bridge. She laid the blanket down and Mocha went right over to the middle and laid down. She was still during the entire procedure. It was as if she was waiting for this moment. Really hard to explain, but it was so peaceful having it done at home.
I know. I love that, and I'm so glad that you got to experience that.
Yeah. Fifi Heath says, we got our Bichon 3 weeks after our boy transitioned, Cavalier, because it was a knee-jerk reaction to my lad being a teen and was depressed. We never ever regretted our decision, as we said that Pebbles added to the love that Benji had left behind for us all. And
for us, it's the joy. Delilah, there's a vacuum of joy that Delilah, that all of us are looking around for, and Elsa is delivering. And it's brought our own natural joy back out for other things.
Like fetching.
No, yeah, don't even get me started. The fetch story is ridiculous. It's generations of dogs that did and then didn't, and now we've got fetch going on again. Elsa taught Penelope how to fetch, but that's a story for a different day.
Denise Power Andre says, for me, it's the quality of life for both animal and human. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rashida Beth Tefler. When Shelby died, my sister offered to sit Shiva with me virtually. Every evening we spent some time remembering her, honoring her, talking about her. It was such a gift.
Yeah. That's beautiful. And we definitely do. I mean, in a funny way, having the Delilah die during the intensive was
Sitting Shiva.
Totally sitting Shiva. Yeah. All right. Now that Claudia's crying, she's worthless. I'm kidding.
And we're done with the comments for now.
Yeah. Okay. And we're gonna have to end on this, but I just want for a moment, I want everybody to close your eyes and take that moment and remember back to the beginning of this conversation about anything that we feel like we're haunted by or we regret. And I want you to see if that's sitting anywhere in your body. And let it get bigger. I mean, I know it's uncomfortable, but let that feeling get bigger for a moment. And let it get so big that it actually burns out. Now I want you to go to your heart center and feel the love and the joy and maybe the caretaking, whatever it is, those qualities that that animal gave to you and you got to give to them. Let's go ahead and let those expand in your heart for a moment. And when you feel ready, go ahead and open your eyes. And there's lots of homework that comes through this. I hope you take the time to sit Shiva with and for your animal companions. And I'll be back on Friday, on Valentine's Day, to share more love. And then, of course, we can have a little Q&A on Tuesday. And if you're so inclined to get on a call with Claudia, we have, an opportunity to really connect in a deep way the following weekend for the Animals in Transition, Death, Dying, and Beyond. And lots of bonuses. We'll get you ways to communicate with animals so you can jump in. We can group you in beginners or advanced, whatever. We've got room for you, and we've also, she can share other big things coming up. So thank you for joining. Thank you for being vulnerable, for sharing, and for being here. Thank you. See you Friday.